Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I think the time has come to try and predict who will qualify from the semi-finals. I've been doing these predictions on my channel for a few years now. Sometimes they are easier than others. There's always countries that you know will definitely qualify, and then there's always those ones in between that you really just don't know, and it's really hard to predict all 10 qualifiers. In fact, that could be impossible. I don't know if anyone's actually ever predicted 10 correctly. So I'll do two separate videos for each semi-final. So this will be just for semi-final one. And what I've done over the past few years is I try and make a list of definite qualifiers, definite non-qualifiers, if there are any, and then everything in between, and hopefully come up with 10. But I will say I've written down a lot more definite qualifiers for semi-final 2 than I have for semi-final 1. For semi-final 1, I've really been struggling to decide on some of the countries, so I'm definitely going to get some wrong in this semi-final, definitely. I know that already. Now, I will say, usually, or since I've been watching anyway, there usually seems to be one semi-final that's stronger than the other. Like last year, it was definitely semi-final 1 was way stronger. So many of the favourites were all in that semi-final, and actually you had Sweden, Finland and Israel, the top 3 in the final, were all in semi-final 1. So yeah, that was definitely the standout of the two. This year it's a bit different. There isn't really, well actually, I think originally we thought semi-final 1 would be stronger, but actually now I think semi-final 2 is more interesting. Lots of the favourites are in semi-final 2, so I do wonder actually if semi-final 2 might be a little bit stronger. Now I'm filming this an hour after we had the reveal of the running orders for both semi-finals, so we've got the running order now, so we know what that is. I will say I've always thought the semi-final running order isn't quite as important as the final. I think the final is definitely more important. So with predictions, I try and base it on the quality of the song and whether it stands out for people to vote for it in a televote only semi-final. So the running order might not have impacted my prediction that much, but I do have a few thoughts about some of the placements in the running order. Now, we know that this year the Big Five will perform live in the semi-finals, and they'll be put right in the middle of all the actual competitors. Now, I spoke about this in my last video. I'm not sure if I understand the benefit of doing that. You can't vote for the Big Five anyway. I imagine the main reason why they've done it, and we don't know if it's permanent, if they're trying it out for a few years, but I imagine they've done it because they want the Big Five to have the same amount of performances as the semi-finalists, so it's equal, so they get the same amount of rehearsals and they all perform the same amount of times. I assume that's why they've done it, but yeah, I don't know what the impact will actually be yet, but I guess we'll find out. I do think actually, the more I think about this, the more I think having the Big Five perform right in the middle of everyone might be a disadvantage to some, because when I was watching the running order live and I could see where the Big Five were, I thought, oh well, that might not be good news for the country before that, but the Big Five song isn't even competing properly, so I do wonder if it's a little bit unfair because the Big Five song might stand out a bit more than the country that was before that. So yeah, I'm not sure if I like the idea really. Um, I do understand why we can have the Big Five perform live. That's fine, I think. But maybe we should have put them all together at the end, just like they do at the jury shows or the preview shows, as we call them now. They all perform at the end of the semi-finals. So yeah, maybe it will be a bit of a disadvantage to some countries. So I did do a quick prediction before we got the running order of who I think could open and close the semi-finals. And for semi-final one, I thought either Lithuania or Cyprus would open, so that's no surprise. And I thought Australia might close, but Luxembourg are closing, so I kind of got one of them right. But anyway, let's get into these predictions finally. So I'll start off with definite qualifiers from semi-final one, and there are a few, I think. I'll start with Croatia, obviously the favourite to win the whole thing at the moment. I'm not sure about that just yet, but qualifying, yeah, definitely. In a televote only semi-final, it's one of the favourites. Yeah, it's qualifying. Also, Ukraine, I think, are definite qualifying. Another big favourite, or one of them, and it is one of the standouts from semi-final one, I would say, and it's strong enough to qualify. I think Lithuania are going through. It's quite popular anyway, and they've got a few countries that would support them in the voting, so I'd say they are going through. But for definite qualifiers, I'm actually going to leave it there because everything else I think could be likely, but maybe not definite. I'm actually going to go the other way, the opposite way now, and talk about possible definite non-qualifiers, dead on arrival, and there's one, I think, really obvious one. It's Iceland, surely. There's no way. Iceland, I love you as a country, the best country in the world. I normally love you in Eurovision, but not this year. This is just, no. The song is very outdated. I know that Hera Bjork has done it before in 2010. I don't care. This song belongs in 2010, if not even earlier, like 2004. It's just not good enough. And who is going to vote for it? Not many people, I don't think. I do have a feeling that Azerbaijan might not make it. I could be wrong about that, but in terms of definitely not going through, I think Iceland is the one that really stands out with that. So that's the only dead on arrival song, I think. But I'll talk a bit more now about other countries I think are going through. I think Serbia will. I know they haven't got a very good running order position, but I feel like they'll still make it. And actually, I'm starting to think that Cyprus won't qualify, but Serbia will. So I think they should be okay. And also, before we got the running order, I was thinking about the three female ballads, so Serbia, Portugal, and Slovenia, and I wondered if they couldn't all make it, but they have been spread out quite well throughout the running order, so I think at least two of them will, if not all of them actually. I think Slovenia will qualify. I always thought it would anyway, but after seeing the running order, you've got Germany and Iceland, and then Slovenia after that. Seeing that made me very hopeful for Slovenia performing after Germany and Iceland. I think that's perfect for them. I do think Finland will qualify. Televote only, it's fun. I think it will go through. It stands out, definitely. Will it do well in the final? Well, personally, I have a prediction for that in the final. I can see it having a Croatia 2023 kind of result. Let 3 last year did badly with the jury, like bottom 3, I think, and got 100 televote points. For some reason, I can picture that happening with Finland this year, or maybe a little bit more than 100 televote points, but something like that. Bad with the jury, but a bit of televote support. Now, there's a lot of countries in the middle that I was very confused about. I still am. But I will say now, I don't think Moldova are going to make it. I quite like the song, actually. I do like it. But I am going to put Moldova on my non-qualifier list. I couldn't decide between Cyprus and Poland, and on my community page and on Twitter as well, I did a poll asking for your help and what you thought about Cyprus and Poland. And a lot of people pointed out, very rightly, that Poland have got a lot of friends, a lot of neighbours that can vote for them. So they do have televote support. So because of that, does that mean they will make it through? To be honest, in the running order, it's in between Ukraine and Croatia, two big favourites. So that does make me a bit worried for it. But I've actually taken Cyprus out of my qualifier list, even though I like the song. I'm just starting to think now it just might not be good enough. And in terms of girl bops, Cyprus and Luxembourg are the two in semi-final one, and they're actually opening and closing with a girl bop. And I'm starting to think now that Luxembourg might make it, but Cyprus won't. So I mean, I could be wrong, but for now, I've swapped Cyprus for Luxembourg, and I've said that Poland will make it, but to be honest, I can see it not making it either, so I'm really not sure. Now, if you watch my top 10 video, then you'll know that Australia is in my top 10, and I think I'm in a minority with that because it's not very popular at all. But I've always said I think Australia this year is underrated, and I think people might be underestimating it a little bit. I think it will be good live, and I think it could surprise people live, or at least I hope so anyway. I have a feeling it will. Now, I've actually put it down as the 10th qualifier, almost like a bit of a wild card. Now, I could be completely wrong with this. Maybe I'm being biased, maybe I'm not being realistic, but I don't know. I just thought maybe it can just about make it. I've also put Portugal on my list. I'm not a huge fan of the song, but maybe it will just end up going through. But you can tell there's a lot of countries in the middle here that I am very unsure about. There's one country I am very unsure about, and I think lots of people are. It's Ireland. There's a huge question mark over Ireland and whether they can qualify. It's much better than Wild Youth. Wild Youth would just automatically, dead on arrival, out of the question. They were just not going to qualify. This is different, very different for Ireland. It's a lot more popular than last year, within the fandom especially. But I think that's the problem. I think, what will the general public, people who haven't seen it before, what will they think of it? I do wonder if it might be just a bit too much for people, you know, just because too too in your face, too much, people just might not get it. So I do worry about that. It would be a shame if Ireland don't qualify because, they've really tried something different. So I think Irish fans will be very disappointed, deflated if they don't qualify. I'm sure they're feeling very nervous right now, actually, a lot of Irish fans right now. So yeah, I really don't know about this. I would like it to qualify, but I can kind of picture it not, and I can picture people being really disappointed that it doesn't. I'd love to be proven wrong, but when I was picking out 10, I haven't included Ireland in the 10 qualifiers. If I was to swap it with something, I'd probably swap it with Australia. But who knows, honestly. Staging as well, I think, will be important. I think they do need to improve the staging, improve the vocals as well, I think, from the national final. I'm interested to find out what the staging will be like. I'm looking forward to it. But will it be enough? The UK can vote in semi-final one, so that's a good thing, I suppose. But even so, will that be enough anyway? I honestly don't know, but I think for now I'm going to assume that it won't qualify, even though I would like it to, but I wouldn't guarantee it at all. So I have got 10 qualifiers written down in my notebook. I'll read them out. They are Ukraine, Croatia, Lithuania, Serbia, Finland, Slovenia, Poland. See, the further down I go, the less certain I am. So Poland, Luxembourg, Portugal, and then I've got Australia at the end as a kind of wild card. But I could replace Australia with Ireland, maybe even Cyprus, to be honest. Cyprus could go through, but yeah, some of them are way more clear than others. I'm fairly confident though about Iceland, Azerbaijan, and Moldova not going through. I think those are three definite non-qualifiers, I think. Moldova are usually very popular in Eurovision, and they're known for their wild, fun party entries. This is not like that, which isn't a problem. I don't have a problem with Moldova doing something different for a change. In fact, I quite like the fact they've gone for something a bit more low-key, but I don't think this will stand out enough. So I think I've definitely got 2 or 3 wrong there. Maybe semi-final 2 might be a little bit easier. And of course, when we get to rehearsals and we know the stagings, things do become a lot clearer then. So this is really only based on the actual songs themselves. So yeah, it's not that clear yet, but yeah, it's always difficult to do. And for some reason, I found this particular semi-final quite difficult to decide. So yeah, there could be some surprises in store. I think stagings are very important. We know that now. So let me know your thoughts. What do you think about the 10 qualifiers I've picked out? Which ones do you think I should change and replace with another country? Which ones do you think I've got wrong, basically? And let me know your thoughts on the running order. You can let me know what you think about the big 5 as well, and where they're placed in the semi-final, and if you think that could impact the other contestants. Let me know your thoughts. I'll just give a quick prediction on who I think could win the semi-final. I assume it will be either Croatia or Ukraine. Those are the obvious ones for me. But yes, anyway, thank you for watching. I will do exactly the same thing for semi-final 2. I look forward to it. Until then, Thank you for watching. See you then. Bye.